Well, hey guys, so this is the fourth of four videos, last video. Who's excited? I know I am, although this is pretty fun to do, I guess. Fourth of four videos on Sticky Church. That's our book that we're kind of going through, and we're all going through this book together, hopefully to set some culture, to make our groups all kind of look or feel the same. Of course, they have their differences by leaders and who's made up it or who is in that group, but hopefully we're all kind of on the same page as far as what life groups at One Hope look like. And so this final video is about leadership. It's about the leadership track that is kind of built into sort of this new way that we're doing life groups. So a couple things about that. Number one, what I really like about this model is that he suggests that after every semester, you guys will nominate somebody in your group that could potentially lead another group. And so what that does is it allows us to not have to split groups. If you've been in church for a while, what you know is, this door is open, I gotta shut it. Okay, that's what was echoey. Anyway, if you've been in the church for a while, you know that the current life group model has very much been one of you grow to a certain extent and then you split in half. And he just does a great job in the book of talking about why that's not great. I would encourage you to read that chapter. I think just intuitively we know that that's hard to do because you get to like the people that you're with, and it can be hard to split, but he makes a really great case for that. I encourage you to read that. I think that's in chapter 15. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to encourage you to nominate somebody in your group who can lead. And what this allows us to do is hopefully have the capacity to double every semester. So we get a whole nother wave of leaders every semester. And what that allows us to do as a church is to grow. As new people come in the doors, they have a place, a home that they can find, a place where they belong in those life groups. So to that end, I will be asking you probably around November, who in your group do you think could lead? So it might be a good thing for you to know kind of what we're looking for in a leader, and also might be just as a practical tool, really helpful for you to, as in the first few weeks, to start thinking about who this leader could be. So, we're starting September 9th, maybe the first few weeks in September. A great question to answer for you is, who could I give, maybe the reins to for maybe one or two questions during the group, just to test it out, to see how well they do, and just kind of recruit an apprentice, maybe is one way to think about it. Who can you allow to take some time to step up to lead a little bit? And even giving multiple people the chance might be a great idea as well. So first few weeks, just be thinking about that. Who is a good person that I could potentially nominate in the future? So that's just a practical thing. But now I want to talk a little bit about kind of what we're looking for, and I think he nails it in the book so well. So he goes two things to look for and two things to avoid. So two things to look for. We're looking for people who are spiritually and relationally, that's number one, and number two, spiritually and relationally warm. And I love the word warm because I think it really means what we're looking for. I'm not looking for somebody who's completely on fire, who can teach a seminary level class, who has Romans memorized. You don't have to be in the upper echelon of spirituality in order to lead a group. You just have to be warm. You just have to be open to growing. You have to be pursuing God on a regular basis. You don't have to be there. You just have to be on the journey there. And so we're looking for somebody who is spiritually warm, not spiritually cold. And I think we can all agree that if somebody who is spiritually cold was leading a life group, it just wouldn't be helpful spiritually for the other people in the group. So that's the first thing, spiritually warm. Second thing that we're looking for is somebody who's relationally warm. You don't have to be the most relational genius out there, but at the same time, we don't want you to be a relational idiot. I think we've all met that person who can't have a good conversation, who maybe says the wrong things at the wrong time, who can derail a conversation. We're looking for people who are relationally warm. Now, I think you can imagine, because we've probably all had this person in our group at one point or another that just wasn't very good at social cues, that wasn't very good at that really derailed the conversation at certain points. Can you imagine if that person was in charge of a group? it would be really hard to stay on task. It would be really hard to have a pointed discussion with somebody who can't follow that discussion. And so that's not to say that those people don't have a place. I really believe that there's a place for everybody. Everybody has a unique gift set in Christianity, and there's a place in this church for those people. But I don't think that their place is to lead a group. Why? Well, because our groups are really important. They are one of our number one top priority, biggest drivers of spiritual growth in our church. And because it's important, I want the right people there. So I don't have to have the best people. I like the word warm because you don't have to be up here, but you just have to be on the journey up there, relationally and spiritually warm. So that's two things we're looking for, two things to avoid. And I love how he put this in this book. This is page 126 if you have the book. He just talks about hyper-spiritual God-talkers and single-issue crusaders. So let's talk about that for a second. You want to avoid hyper-spiritual God-talkers. Now, that might seem counterintuitive, but here's the thing. When you have a hyper-spiritual God-talker in your group, you can tell because they need you to know how spiritual they are. They need the group to know how much Bible they know. They need the group to affirm how much they have learned and how good that point was. Do you know what I mean? It's okay, and it's a good thing to know a lot about God. It's okay, and it's a good thing to talk a lot about God. But it's not a good thing to get your affirmation from other people, to use God to get that affirmation. Another person to avoid is the single issue crusader. He just a great quote from C.S. Lewis about the progress of people who have a single issue crusade in mind. Very often important things become more important than God. And so person leading the group who maybe it's abortion, and that's a great cause to take up. But the purpose of life groups is to help people grow spiritually, not recruit them for your cause. And so there might be important things that people like that are their single issue crusade. But when we take a good thing and we displace God in it, we make it an idol. And so those people leading a group can really lead a group of people astray, or it can turn off good people to a group, and so they don't get into a group, and that can be that's just not our goal. So that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are spiritually and relationally warm, and we're kind of looking to avoid people who are hyper-spiritual God-talkers, single-issue crusaders. Now, a couple things about leadership and training. What I'm planning on doing is to do more of these videos. This seems to be a great way for you to consume content from me, and it's a great way for me to just kind of update you about what's next and what's going on in our life groups. And so what I'm planning on doing is to continue to do more videos, maybe in the future to do an audio recording, maybe that you could listen to on your phone in your car, or while you're out on a jog or something, just so you're aware of what's going on, and so that we can keep pouring into you as leaders. So be expecting that. My goal is to do something once a month, just to share a quick little tidbit that might be helpful for you, as well as kind of some vision for what's coming next and what you need, maybe some announcements for what you need to know. So that's kind of the plan for training. He also talks about that in the book. Good leaders are busy because they fill their schedules, because they use their gifts and talents to further the kingdom. And so I don't want to inhibit you by taking more of your time than is necessary. So this seems to be a good medium for that. So be expecting that. Be on the lookout for that. Life groups are open. The sign up is open, I should say. We start September 9th. And so hopefully you're getting people who are signing up to your group. I'm going to include some pictures of kind of what that looks like in this video, so that you can understand how to use Planning Center effectively. And that's it. Well, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope they were helpful. I hope you liked the book, Sticky Church. If you didn't get a copy, if you still need a copy, let me know. I've got several of them in my office. It's also available on Audible if you're a book listener, and that's how I did it. I was able to listen to it in one day. So it's a short, easy read, lots of good information. Hey, I'll see you guys Sunday.